Hello, poetry lovers and nature enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Poetry Show with Amy Fortran. Today we are embarking on a journey into one of the most cherished works of English Romanticism, William Wordsworth's timeless masterpiece, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, also affectionately known as Daffodils. This poem is more than just a beautiful description of flowers. It's a profound exploration of nature's restorative power and the enduring joy it can bring to the human spirit. Whether you're a seasoned literature student or simply someone who finds solace in the beauty of the natural world, you're in for a treat. Join us as we delve into the verses, uncovering the layers of meaning and the poetic brilliance that have made this poem a beloved classic for centuries. Let's begin by immersing ourselves into the poem itself. I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud is a lyric poem, a relatively short, musical verse that expresses the speaker's emotions and thoughts. It's composed of 4 sestets or 6-line stanzas, each following a consistent and pleasing AABBCC rhyme scheme. This regular structure combined with this largely iambic tetrameter gives this poem a flowing, almost song-like quality, making it both memorable and enjoyable to read aloud.
I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high, o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not be but gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils.
Let's break down this poem stanza by stanza, and I'll be right back at the end of the presentation for some important announcement.
I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high, o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Here, Wordsworth immediately establishes the speaker's initial state, one of solitude and aimlessness, much like a cloud drifting without purpose. But this loneliness is abruptly broken by a sudden joyful encounter. The daffodils aren't just flowers, they're a crowd, a host, personified as a lively gathering. This personification continues as they are described as fluttering and dancing in the breeze, imbuing them with a vibrant, almost human energy. The imagery is vivid. Golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, painting a clear picture of the scene in our minds. Moving into the second stanza, the sheer abundance of the daffodils is emphasized. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Wordsworth uses hyperbole here, claiming to see 10,000 daffodils at once. This exaggeration isn't meant to be taken literally, but rather to convey the overwhelming number and the breathtaking spectacle of the flowers. The comparison to stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way elevates the daffodils from simple flowers to something celestial and infinite, highlighting their natural beauty and grandeur. The personification continues with them tossing their heads in sprightly dance, reinforcing their joyous and lively presence. The third stanza introduces a contrast and further emphasizes the daffodils' captivating moment. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not be but gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Even the waves, the symbol of natural movement, are outshone by the daffodils' glee. The speaker, a poet, acknowledges that such a joyful sight could only evoke happiness. The repetition of I gazed and gazed conveys a sense of deep absorption and wonder. Yet, at this moment, the speaker doesn't fully grasp the profound impact this encounter will have. The wealth isn't material, it's the emotional and spiritual enrichment that the daffodils provide, a realization that will come later. And finally, the transformative power of memory is revealed in the fourth and final stanza. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upward that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. This is where the poem truly resonates. The initial encounter with the daffodils is not a fleeting moment. It's stored in the speaker's memory, ready to be recalled. When the speaker is alone, in a vacant or in a pensive mood, the image of the daffodils flash upon that inward eye. This inward eye is the power of imagination and memory, which allows the speaker to re-experience the joy of that moment. The solitude, initially a sort of loneliness, becomes a bliss because it allows for this internal communion with nature. The poem beautifully concludes with the speaker's heart filling with pleasure and dancing with the daffodils, a powerful testament to nature's enduring ability to uplift and inspire, even in absence. Beyond the vivid imagery and delightful rhythm, I Wander Lonely as a Cloud is rich with themes and literary devices that contribute to its lasting impacts. Let's break down some of the most prominent. The most central theme, undoubtedly, is nature's restorative power. Wordsworth, a pioneer of the Romantic movement, believed deeply in the profound influence of nature on the human soul. For him, nature was not just a backdrop, but a living, breathing entity capable of healing, inspiring, and providing solace. The speaker's initial loneliness is directly contrasted with the joy and pleasure he derives from the daffodils. This isn't a superficial happiness, it's a deep spiritual nourishment that transforms his mood and outlook. The poem suggests that even a brief encounter with natural beauty can have a lasting positive effect on our emotional well-being. Closely intertwined with nature's power is the theme of memory and imagination. The poem doesn't just celebrate the immediate experience of seeing the daffodils, it emphasizes the enduring power of that memory. The speaker's ability to recall the scene, to have it flash upon that inward eye, is crucial. This inward eye represents the imagination, which allows us to re-experience past joys and find comfort in solitude. Wordsworth suggests that true happiness isn't solely dependent on external circumstances, but can be cultivated internally through the power of recollection and imaginative engagement with nature. This leads us to the broader theme of humanity's connection to nature. The poem is a testament to the romantic ideal that humans are intrinsically linked to the natural world. In an increasingly industrialized society, Wordsworth sought to remind his readers of the vital importance of this connection for spiritual and emotional wealth. The daffodils are not just observed, they are companions. Their dance mirroring the joys that fill the speaker's heart. This reciprocal relationship highlights the idea that nature can be a source of profound companionship and understanding. Now, let's look at how Wordsworth uses literary devices to achieve these effects. We already touched upon the opening simile, I wandered lonely as a cloud. This comparison immediately sets the tone, highlighting the speaker's initial detachment and aimlessness, making the subsequent encounter with the daffodils even more impactful. Personification is perhaps the most striking device in the poem. The daffodils are given human qualities. They form a crowd, a host. They dance, and they toss their heads in sprightly dance. This not only makes the flowers more vivid and engaging, but also blurs the line between human and nature, reinforcing the idea of a shared, vibrant existence. The hyperbole of 10,000 saw I at a glance, emphasizing the overwhelming abundance and beauty of the daffodils. It's an exaggeration that conveys the sheer scale of natural spectacle. Wordsworth's masterful use of imagery allows us to visualize the scene with remarkable clarity. Phrases like golden daffodils, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, and the comparison to stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way appeal to our senses and transports us to that lakeside scene. This rich sensory detail is key to the poem's immersive quality. Finally, subtle uses of alliteration like beside the lake, beneath the trees, and assonance such as lonely as the cloud contributes to the poem's musicality and flow, making it a pleasure to read and hear.
His poem serves as a beautiful invitation to pause, observe, and truly appreciate the natural wonders that surround us. It encourages us to cultivate that inward eye, to store away those moments of natural beauty. What are your favorite lines from I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud? Or perhaps another poem that speaks to the power of nature? Share your thoughts in the comment section. We love hearing from you. Next week, we will reveal the winners of our just concluded Poetry Father's Day contest. Be sure to join us live as we announce the winners. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Wordsworth, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Poetry Show for more literary analysis and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out our next episode. You can always find a link to the full text of the poem and more resources in the description below. Thank you for joining me on this poetry journey. Until next time, keep wondering, keep observing, and keep finding this bliss in solitude. See you soon. Bye.